Welcome back, everyone, to live coverage from Shanghai of the Dota 2 Asia Championships 2018, presented by Perfect World. It's coming to a climax. We have just 3 more matches to go, where the lower bracket is going to be finished off by the 2 teams that qualified earlier on today through the best of ones. They'll now face off against each other for the right to play LGD on another right to face off against Mineski in the grand final. Just those 3 matches to go and 4 teams remaining, 2 of which are from the SEA region. We welcome back our own SEA expert to the panel. Winter has joined us alongside Fold and, of course, Jack as well. Gents, got your breath back after that one?
No.
No? Still recovering?
Yeah.
Have you said to me when you came over,
right
you said to me when you came over, I've not screamed and shouted like that since TI.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I was
that
just...
one got you.
I was watching a couple things, and they know they mentioned Willow, but I want to mention like one little interaction I was catching that Jabs was doing in there, and I thought it was super neat. Like, maybe some people know this, maybe this is obvious, but so when he would use this, I'm sorry to just go into this tangent, but I'm still super hyped up on it.
Like it.
You've earned it.
So he would use this terrorize, right? And then when he would use the blink dagger, he would blink on top of it to catch the bedlam, so he could instantly use his ulti again, because you can't use both at the same time until you have it back in. So he would able to actually combo that up and chain lockdown people. I was just like, and to burst them, I was just like, this is so smart right now.
Enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to last.
I mean, I'm just like,
it's going to be changed.
Unbelievable series.
Winter, SEA, what a tournament.
Yeah, what a tournament. People can say about the patch, oh, they have this patch during the tournament.
Forget that.
But
forget that.
They play well. They play really well.
You can only play who's in front of you, right? That's what Jack told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true. No, you can't laugh. It's true.
It is.
I've been talking about TNC and Armel since the group stage. I don't think it should really be too big a surprise to anyone. This team plays very fast. They play together cohesively. Armel's been great on a variety of mids. It should not be a shock to anyone. They have a tough series coming up now as well, but Mineski has really found something. They've shown a lot of versatility in their drafting. Daryl's been playing great. I think the cores and supports. Well, all right, everyone's been playing great on Mineski, obviously put it that way, and they've drafted very well, which is pretty important. You can just steal games out of a series with drafting like that, and sometimes that's what the difference is. You might have a 50-50 matchup with someone, but you get a better draft on them, and that's your series, and that's the next round.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of that in game 1, didn't we, with the Huskar pick?
Yeah.
Again, it highlights what Winter brought up earlier in the tournament and earlier today. As good as China can produce, they can't come up with 5th picks or 10th picks like that in drafts, like a Huskar or a Brood, for instance. They just can't come up with it.
Yeah, I mean, you've always got to be careful for that, especially if there's an Oracle, right? So, I mean, Brood's one monster. Huskar, you need that Oracle. The hero can't actually function without it.
Yeah, it should have been a red flag, shouldn't it, in the middle of that draft? But nevertheless,
probably
they'll learn from it, I guess, and come back from it. Virtus.pro, on the other hand, Winter, they've only lost the one game, the one series, and that was to Liquid, so can't count them out. Even though it's lower bracket, you just can't count out these boys. And if they manage to win this, go through and play LGD, you'd probably fancy against them. And then they go to the grand final, and suddenly we're talking about a team winning 3 majors in a row that's never been done before.
Yeah, they have already mentioned it a couple of times. They find that Liquid is their hardest opponent, and there's no more
Liquid.
No more Liquid right now. So I think that they should be feeling pretty good about themselves. But TNC has been playing well. It's not an opponent they should underestimate. They are a fast team, and they can punish them if they go greedy with a tri-core lineup. Yeah,
the Chinese casters were telling us earlier they call them the mini VP. Jack, why is that? Is it just similar play styles, I guess?
Yeah, I guess not full grown, right? Because VP back in the day was, or a little bit earlier, was known for this. Again, like very aggressive, just trying to fight all the time. But maybe they threw away that balance in their lineup, or maybe by the time they got to high ground, they had issues cracking high ground. Because you usually need balance for that. You need some kind of tower hitter, some way to do that without just forcing fights all the time. So it's maybe embryonic stage VP here for TNC. But I think TNC has always played like this. I compared them more to like the old MVP teams with like Q on them. It was kind of very similar play style. I think it might even be like a regional thing in that sense. So
yeah, it's definitely been there for a while, hasn't it, Winter? It's not something that's brand new. It's just it's more refined now, isn't it?
MVP is more like caveman Dota.
That one's a lot more or less. It's not as methodical.
Because March might be watching right now. I know he's just come back out of the army, and he could be threatening to put another team together. So just don't get too on him.
Like you said, it's more refined right now. It's part of the similar basis where they win the lanes, they keep running at you. There's no cooldown spells. They just keep running at you with cheap items. So yeah, in that matter, they are very similar, but more refined because there's more depth to the strategy instead of just running at you. They have this kind of lineup where they scale as well. When you go into late game against TNC, they sometimes have this reliance on Raven with the TB or maybe the OD, to pull the late game victory. So
Yeah.
much more options.
Can we also
for
add drafting to that? Because drafting seems to be better now than it did from the SEA region a couple of years ago. 3 years ago, it was a bit more sporadic, wasn't it?
I think it's not only just for the SCA. I think drafting overall throughout Dota has just been better. Everyone has improved over time. You've watched so much Dota. You've gone through so much patches. Everyone has just had that deeper understanding about how to play the game.
Yeah. Is that also to do, Fog, with the fact that the game's just so well balanced at the moment?
Yeah, most things.
Most things.
Come on, guys.
I don't think we need to talk about nerfed Willow.
Yeah,
sorry, Dark Willow. Yeah, no, I was right the first time.
There's been a lot of, a lot of improvements all around. And I mean, we keep talking about TNC, and yeah, it's like, yeah, their play's been improved, their drafting's been improved, and their ward game's been heavily improved. Cuckoo's been on fire with that.
I think around the 3 position, like how you pick that hero, I think has emerged as a real key for me during this tournament. Because if you look at VP and some other teams to start, they pick, it's more of a lane dominated, right? So it's an Enchantress or something that takes the tower quickly. For some teams, it's a team fighter. If you look at VGJ Thunder, the Chinese teams, it's an Omni, it's an Underlord. It's a frontliner that gives you team fighter or Tide. Nice. If you look at TNC, though, it's an initiator. It's pretty much always someone who fights. It's a Bat Rider. It's a Sand King. So I think that is the main difference in drafting between some of these teams, how they want to play from that 3 position. That also changes how many resources you give to the off lane, how much pressure you can put on the enemy safe lane, how fast you can fight. So I think that's like something to watch out for.
I'm glad you brought up the 3 role too, because watching these last few games and last few series over the days, I'm wondering how the priority of Underlord has been moving up, how much it's going to affect these 2 teams.
Yeah, it's definitely, but it's moved into first pick territory now, isn't it?
Yep.
We've seen it picked twice in the first phase now, just today alone, and I know we saw it yesterday once as well.
I think we might not see the hero here, though. I think Underlord is a hero that is not necessarily suitable for either of the teams that are going to be playing now. So we might not, maybe we see him a ban, like, because it's just like at this stage, no more room for error, even though you think that, they are probably not going to pick it, but you want to be safe. Yeah. Since it's rising up in the pick priority right now.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? Any surprises? Obviously, we know that Virtus.pro can pull out the brew. We've seen it already today. From TNC's point of view, have they got anything up their sleeve, Winty, do you think? The Pango, maybe, for instance?
Maybe, but I don't see them having anything sort of like too different, because they strike me as a team that I've always said that they are a team that will play with their comfort. That's when they are most dangerous. When you're able to put them out of their comfort zone, that's when they seem really shaky. So I don't think you see too much of a deviation from what they normally do. Maybe a little bit of a different kind of support hero, support Lash, but I don't see them pulling off anything too different from what they usually do.
What do you think about the only one that actually could come to mind for me for them would be the Invoker, to be honest, for Armel, right?
Yeah.
He's a big fan of that one.
Once, I think, was used in a group stage, I think. It was
Maybe
one game.
I remember seeing.
But I feel
Not
like
sure.
Invoker, he's a good Invoker player, but Invoker might not be suitable for the team, for the pace of the game that they want to play, because Invoker is very slow hero, and they kind of want to keep running at you. So
there is another
I was
hero.
just curious, yeah.
There's another hero that kind of the MVP comparison came back to, and that's the PA. I think they ran it in the group stage. We haven't seen it here. I think it's been banned against them a few times as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way it's built now, you put it in the safe lane, you can go Battle Fury and try to scale a little bit. But in the past, those QOs, like you go straight to Desolator, and you're just fighting all the time. But it can play pretty quickly, and you'd want it to be a snowball hero too, right? So
if we see a Slardar there, then I think that hero might have a huge potential of coming out, and maybe an Enchantress counter as well. I think I've seen it done before. So those are the possible scenarios you might see a PA.
All right, yeah. I was just looking through some of their picks during the tournament so far. They've picked Underlord 3 times during this particular one. They've also had 3 Slardars as well, and 3 Dark Willows in the middle of all of this. So there's some potential for those to come back, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
No potential for Dark Willow.
No,
not for Dark Willow.
I think and no Sand King, which is their most played hero at DAC. They've played that 10 times in the matches that they've played so far, and That's been identified by Virtus.pro as one of those initiating heroes that we were talking about that TNC really like to run.
That's not the only thing though. It's the flexibility it provides because they have multi-players that can play the multiple players that can play the hero.
Yep.
So they go with the tiny opening, pretty standard stuff there from TNC. The hero that has worked really well so far for them.
They've played it on Umbrella every time, right?
Yeah.
No, they ran it once as,
I think
as a
Raven-
support.
Once as support, that's right.
support.
Yeah,
It's a 4, yeah.
No, Raven played it once too.
Yeah.
I remember. So they've
Okay.
Yeah,
So
they played it
it's-
3 times, and they've played it 3 different roles.
Okay, so it's a flex.
Yep.
Yeah.
and I'm sure if they want to run it on Sam H, they could too, even
Okay.
though they haven't done
Yeah.
it so far. But we see the gyro pick being, coming back again throughout the tournament. There was this phase where gyro was picked all the time. But after the nerf, people were like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe
it was a bit cagey, wasn't
he-
it, that day? It was like, we're not sure, and then no, he's come back in full force again now.
I mean, VP's been loving this hero for a very long time. The way that they can play around it with just the aggression in the laning phase, and
That flat cannon nerf didn't really bother them.
no,
That-
they just run at you with the barrage early on and just fight as a team.
That's something new from TNC.
Yeah.
Don't remember them running the hero. Probably gonna.
They've run this twice in the groups.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see those games. Was it support?
I can't tell you right now, but I will find out for you, Winter.
Interesting.
It's a lane dominator. I think it's like a good lane matchup against the gyro. If the gyro is not in the safe, the gyro's not mid. If it's a safe lane gyro, the Furin can definitely bully him a lot. But for VP, they've been running a lot of games where just no one's just playing the gyro mostly.
Yeah, and they pick some like very hard roaming hero for Roger, like some Earth Shaker, some Earth Spirit, something that can just keep punishing and making moves with that gyro. But yeah, like you said, the Nature's Prophet, if the gyro is in the safe lane, I mean, Treants, of course, you can tank a lot of the barrage and, hitting from a distance.
It's
can be
interesting,
good.
actually, because they've only played this Prophet against the other 2 best teams in the competition so far. They played against Liquid in the group stage. It was on Cuckoo.
Okay.
And they played it against LGD, and it was also on Cuckoo as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
they
guess
use it as a 5.
Yeah.
not so much of a Sam H kind of hero, more of like a greedier position 5 hero, which allows them to dominate the lanes. We see the ban, Lifestealer ban, really good hero against the Tiny, Terrorblade as well. And same goes for VP. They're banning out the Puck, which is a great matchup for the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, the 5 position, 4/5 Chen being in some cases, sorry, better Chen in some cases as the Nature's Prophet.
The
Able to go in there.
TP Chen.
Yeah, exactly. able to go in and bully that lane still, but you can TP anywhere. And then the Lifestealer ban
There's
tells
the
me that
Shaker.
TNC probably wants a Bat Rider if it's still available.
Yeah, I like when Sam H is personally playing those like straight initiators, and yeah, the Shaker. We were just mentioning it like for VP, they love this Shaker gyro combo. They've been running it since Katowice.
This is like also the reason a lot of games why Shaker's been picked with Gyro, because Gyro, when you pick him into the mid lane, you are always worried about the danger of some roam coming in, because Gyro, you have no escape mechanism. It's easy for you to get ganked, and it's easy for you to go down in the laning phase, but with Earthshaker around, with one feature, generally you should be able to save the Gyro's life or even turn the situation around. So. And it gives you a lot of good team fight, instant disables, high burst.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me is also like, yeah, sure, the laning phase, but yeah, that team fight, like you mentioned, it's that control. If you can actually like lock someone down, you have 3 different sets of stuns for a gyro to just use that entire flak.
The other thing about these Tusks and Earthshakers that definitely factors in is the ability to kind of create terrain. And so if you're highly mobile, if you're in these constant skirmishes early on, and you're able to just keep 1 or 2 heroes away from the fight, or make it more difficult for them to get in, it's just a big problem.
Oh, is it coming? Now that we have the Slaughter. This Slaughter is probably Sam H is going to handle this hero. I think it's likely that.
You think Sam H or Tim's? I would think Tim's, right?
I think both is possible for them though. Like he used to play, yeah, but maybe more likely on teams. But it's Sam H kind of hero where you get a blink and you run around and you set up kills.
And there's the Underlord that we mentioned. So versus Nature's Prophet, you can deal with a lot of that split. This hero allows you to have that high mobility for your team and always being able to push out waves. We've seen like, I feel like we've been seeing actually like nuking waves and pushing waves out become more and more important in these tournaments. Players highly prioritizing it.
Yeah, especially as Winter has been saying, if you're able to push the waves out and put that constant pressure. Again, it's harder for the enemy to make moves. Makes it easier for you because you're not just losing towers or giving away your position with no one responding to where the creeps are. So a couple of options here. There's still the Luna on the table that feels maybe a little squishy for this. We briefly talked about the PA. There's a Juggernaut out there as well. A couple different directions they could go.
They might be thinking of the Monkey King though, because in C it's quite a common thing for going for a Monkey King against the Underlord, but they're gonna go with the Luna, like you said, the staple hero. You want a hero that has a nuke to go up against the Underlord, so you can kill him in the lane. And it does give them a much more teamfight presence, since Prophet and Slardar does not provide too much in terms of teamfight.
Gives them now more ways to just secure that Roche now too, right? With Corrosive Haze and with Lunar Blessing. They have good ways to just sneak in there and take the fights early on with Eclipse.
Yeah, but still, like, Underlord is still going to be annoying for you later.
Yeah, definitely.
You get the nuke and you get the extra damage for whoever's in your lane as well, right? To help you kind of push away that Underlord a little bit.
5 seconds.
Could be nice with Nature's Prophet, right, too? You just like this Nature's Prophet hitting on this Underlord constantly with Orb of Venom and Lunar Blessing. So I like that they banned the bat. You know, you mentioned because they had the Lifestealer ban earlier, TNC could look for that one. And I always just like when Sam H is playing those just straight initiators.
Yeah, and bat's annoying for even it's annoying for Underlords. We saw from the last game, you could have that 1v1 matchup if you have a strong tri-lane. You go aggro lane with the Luna and you leave the bat out against the Underlord. That's a matchup that's really, really difficult for Underlord unless he gets some help from his team.
Yeah.
Or he's called Ice Ice Ice.
He got help.
He got help from
Pot.
Jabs. A lot of help.
He did get help, but still.
It's true. So ban out the OD.
They need
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know, they might just put a starter on off and pick another support, but it's still open for them. It depends on what kind of hero they want for Sam H though. But I feel like the starter is a suitable hero for him.
I feel like they really lack team fight.
They
That's the
generally
one thing.
don't. Yeah, they generally don't give him a team fight hero.
Yeah.
Well, there's again like so many of these. What if it's just like a disruptor or something? I'm not sure if how they're gonna run these positions.
Oh, you mean like the Prophet getting bumped into a core and picking a position 5 hero? That's possible
Or
too.
the Sand King being the offlaner.
Night Stalker.
A lot of night vision heroes. It's a lot of pressure though that they can put onto the enemy team. The laning phase should be pretty strong, but I'm still not sure if Slardar is going to be the core or Night Stalker is going to be the core. Both seems viable.
I feel like I've seen Sam H play more than Night Stalker.
Yeah,
He's been going like Vanguard and stuff, and he builds up that tanky items like Crimson Guard versus Gyrocopters and whatnot.
I like the synergy from TNC a lot, actually, in terms of controlling Roshan, because this is a small thing, but Luna, you have the Eclipse that turns at night, right? And then Slardar has a massive night vision talent, I believe.
At level 20, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. It'll take some time to get there. But
Night Stalker with Prophet is very, very strong together, because during nighttime you just run around, you see someone, and there's a +1 TPing in instant.
I think TNC's looking to just like kind of run over the lanes, because they look at VP's draft, and they're like, they have a heavy amount of team fight. We need to actually have this huge advantage going into that mid-game.
They were in the similar situation earlier today against Liquid. Liquid had better team fight, but they were able to pull out the hit in the lanes, and just even though Liquid didn't play the game perfectly, and as a result, but I think TNC is going to be able to do it again here and pull away the win with the lanes.
Okay, so Winter's going for TNC. Fault.
Gonna go VP. I think they're actually with this Earthshaker and the Gyro, it's gonna be like the perfect solution to actually deal with that run at you. They're gonna be moving in with like this Slardar, this Night Stalker, this Luna, and that's where the Earthshaker and the Gyro actually thrive.
Okay.
I think if VP are able to take if the game state reaches a point where they're able to take a lot of objectives, I think they win this game. But I think beyond that, if TNC are able to spread it into smaller skirmishes, like we saw against Liquid, and with that vision advantage, I like TNC. So I'm actually gonna go with TNC in this game.
Okay.
So I guess I'm Kyle here.
You are. You're kind of Kyle, without the Oracle predictions. But we'll see whether that turns into truth, because who knows? It could turn out to be that Fog's a genius for picking out what he has in game number 1. We're going to head to the arena now for that very first game. A massive game between these two teams, between TNC and Virtus.pro.
It's been a grueling season here for the opening season of the DPC, and it's been a grueling tournament as well. Long one with a lot of games going through, but we're finally in that last run. TNC, Virtus.pro, 2 of the last 4 teams left here at DAC, and just need to be able to win this one series to get to that final day. And both teams, well, definitely a little bit more on the line for TNC, as Virtus.pro have already secured themselves that international invite, but it seems like Virtus.pro have shown absolutely no sign of slowing down whatsoever, Blitz.
Why stop making that cash? Just collect it.
At least they could determine themselves to be the absolute #1 point holder
Yeah.
at the end of this season before you head into CI. No bonus points for that,
Get to 10K.
but you get a lot of money in the way, I guess.
For TNC, though, this game has massive implications. It almost triples the amount of points that they would get. Being able to get to the finals would make them shoot up the DPC. And winning this event, I think, puts them all the way up to like 4th or something.
But Virtus.pro, like, they already secured themselves their TI invite a long time ago, but this match still means a lot for them, right? It still seems that every single tournament matters a lot for them. After all, this is a team that succeeded quite well last year until it came to that final tournament at the end of the year, the International, where they did suffer. They want to be able to get themselves one of those excellent placings at TI, if not a win itself. And in order to do so, you got to remain on top of your game.
Yeah. I think I talked to Resolution yesterday, and he said for a team like VP, it's about pride at this point. It's about consistently telling everybody this is how dominant we are. And bottom lane solo.
Kind of caught out here. The Slardar Night Stalker as an aggro dual lane against VP TNC. Trying to go for some, I would say, pretty signature aggression at this point in time, coupled with the fact that they're running this 5-position Cuckoo Nature's Prophet that we've seen twice so far in the group stage here at DAC.
Yeah, mid lane, the Viper's already taken a lot of damage. They're opting to go for a dual lane as Cuckoo, taking a page out of EG's book and doing that safe lane Nature's Prophet support. The bottom, Maledict gonna hit on both.
It's a good paralyzing cast, bounces over the Night Stalker, hits the Slardar again. This might be enough damage with Maledict already on him. It looks like the last Black Cannon shot. They will be able to get that kill. Virtus.pro already showing that they can stand up to TNC's aggression even early on in the laning phase.
That was one of the more fortuitous cast bounces that I've ever seen. Like, there was a wave of creeps, and it just happens to prioritize him the second time around. Maybe he would have gone away otherwise, but first blood picked up is once again, they're getting aggressive.
Sam H, he's going to be limping away from that one. Now he does have Magic Wand sticks as well as a healing salve, so he'll be able to stay in his lane, no problem. Cuckoo going to teleport, try to go for the courier, and he gets it too. A big win for the support Furion.
So the power of it is that you can be so global. No offlaner can really trade hits with you because of the power of the treants. Look at this. Solo trying to go for his own play. The courier is going to come in. It's got the soul ring on it. If he's patient enough, he will be rewarded for this, as Armel really needs this.
There's absolutely no reason why Solo should leave. He's still got 30 seconds until the courier turns flying. He's going to find it. And both couriers will end up dying here in the first 3 minutes.
Doesn't even cost him that much time because he instantly gets the TP at bottom. Goes back up in the lane. Sam H going to get the coconut thrown on him, but no follow-up.
It's like he wanted to be able to show his face as soon as possible. Don't think for a second that you can rest on Solo. He's already shown with his support disruptor that he's willing to make all kinds of rotations. Armel takes a lot of damage here. Roger not gonna throw out that Fissure.
No one's out of mana. That's what's making this a little bit difficult for them to set up, as they're pinging the range creep right now.
So, Blitz, I want to talk about this Furion because, as you alluded to, Evil Geniuses have already run it once here. Night Stalker takes some damage. He'll be fine. We also saw Liquid running the core Nature's Prophet in Miracle. Seems like a lot of teams are experimenting with this hero. Why?
I think because people are starting to go more for a 5-man kind of style. Is Armel going to get gone on? No one had brought a clarity to himself. I think when people, it's like Dota's very circular in that way. It's get a little bit greedier, trying to punish the 5-man play. It's a really good split push hero. It's decent in the 2-1-2 setup where you pick a very good safe laner. Like a hero like Luna doesn't really need help
Oh, the rotation out of bottom lane. Rams is just going to go for the TP out. This is smart because Cuckoo was trying to counter him. The Maledict's still on this Slardar. It's going to be close. Lives with about 20 HP. Meanwhile, Solo is going to have to contest with a Sam H. Nightstalker who gives up on the chase. Only had one Void left, so he's just going to be happy with shoving all of VP out of their bottom lane. It couldn't quite get the kill, though.
Dota becomes this game where slowly people become less and less greedy, and so you've got to punish it with a little bit of greed. The Nature's Prophet support allows them to be very mobile. If you already have a very strong safe laner, you don't really need to provide too much. In the mid lane, Armel gonna throw out the stun.
As the double damage has been trying to deal with this Viper lane with an Earthshaker in his face. Now he's got Solo's Witch Doctor. Oh, the toss back into the slam. Tims is going to catch Solo underneath the tower, and Armel might still get away too. In fact, he will. Tims
Wants to try to go for the outplay, but that last tick of the Maledict is going to make him think twice. Going to salve up as Ramses at bottom. Going to get chased down. Sam H has a Void.
They know he's all by himself, so they make sure to collect that kill.
Thick aggression so far from TNC. VP thought they were just going to get a kill. Instead, toss back into the tower, into the waiting arms of the Slardar. Very nice play from TNC. And Armel has been outstanding in this tournament so far.
Good. I was just about to say, let's talk about Armel a little bit, because this kid joining TNC has made TNC look so much better as a team.
Yeah. So a lot of people were trying to poach him to the west, in fact, for some time. Because if you ask C players, like, who's the mid? Who's, like, the up-and-coming mid player, a la mid one? Everyone talks about Armel. He is a pro's pro in every sense of the word. And it's great for him to be able to get this kind of opportunity on this kind of stage.
And while Cuckoo was a great mid, Armel is truly fantastic in every sense of the word. Sam H. push back, tries to go in again with a Maledict on him. He thinks better of it. Now Cuckoo's here.
Roger's in position too, on the left wing.
Seeing if maybe they can go for a Fissure block here into a Rocket Barrage. They will spot Cuckoo. Now he's blocked in, not hit by the Fissure itself though.
Sam H. He knows there's no Fissure. He wants to make this run.
Starts running it solo. Tims is also here on the side to be able to help him out. Sam H will take more damage. Tims is going to take the Maledict and will get the stun and keep on running. So TNC continue to keep up the pressure, but not suicidally so. They don't try and give up any kills themselves.
Roger's still waiting for it. They're going to make this move. The Fissure,
Cuckoo.
Again,
He is stuck. Cuckoo is definitely dead this time around.
Roger's not getting the damage though on the Fissure. Causing a little bit of problems, but they end up getting the kill anyways.
So all of this is drawing a lot of attention away from the top lane, where the Luna is matched up against the Underlord. Now, that's not the worst matchup in the world for the Underlord to be in a 1v1, right?
It becomes really annoying once she gets any sort of lead, is the problem, because you can just zone her out. What we see people often do, the Chinese teams, they'll just kind of chase you off before going for the CS, and I think that is the correct play. You want to make sure that this Underlord has the worst possible laning phase.
Next thing you know, she's level 5, you're level 3, and she just keeps on nuking you every single time you show your face in lane.
Then she grabs 6, and then the lane is truly unplayable. It's similar to playing against Juggernaut.
So Pasha, he's been grinding through neutrals for a while now, but it's going to be caught by Tims. It looks like slowed down a little bit by the beam. As long as Tims hits this stun, they can go for the dive now. It could be a costly dive, though. Pasha turning around, trying to go for the Firestorm. Couldn't quite get it off. Raven will go for a TP up, but there's going to be a Fissure to stop him. And indeed, it is a very costly dive for TNC VP. They punish Raven hard for trying to go for that kill on the Underlord. Even if he succeeded, it was still a level 5 Underlord for a level 7 Luna.
And they're known for their aggression, but that was a little bit too far as Slardar. When he gets stunned up, has to go downwards. Cuckoo from the side, gonna find Roger.
And the toss in the tree is gonna be enough. Now Cuckoo with a Maledict on him as well as Pasha. He knows he's dead, but at least he gets Armel the kill and gets Armel back to the mid lane to keep farming.
Not sure TNC, I mean, they are the aggressive team. VP, very good with their rotations though.
I think we knew going into this one that this was going to be a slugfest, right? Like Virtus.pro as well as TNC. Like TNC have this kind of signature aggression, but Virtus.pro have always been kind of known for that sort of in-your-face style. Wants to be able to win the laning phase, transition from there, hit the mid game really hard.
People have been talking about TNC a lot just because maybe Mineski, we've known that they are a good team, that they have a lot of potential, but TNC is showing it out here. And probably the most interesting thing about them, for the most part, is they don't try to go for objectives. They just try to kill you as often as possible.
Would you compare them to a team like, say, MVP?
Yes.
Of old?
It's like this team mentality, just like fight all the time, and we'll deal with the objectives later. But solo, they've got vision. Raven senses this as in mid lane, Tiny gonna get gone
into the trees, has to dodge this last hit from the Viper, and looks like he will be fine now. Raven's gonna come in, managed to get at least one little mini stun out with the nuke. No one is gonna die. Here's the further rotation from TNC, ensure it. Now they're gonna get a slowdown onto Roger as well. Sam H chasing him down, does have a void coming up in a second here. And looks like Raven will claim the kill, 4-6. TNC managed to strike back. This time it's Virtus.pro overextending themselves.
This kind of style is so crazy on lands because you're not used to the speed. It puts some fear in you as Sam H gonna find Ramses. Fall down is laid out to try to slow down the Luna. He wants to create some separation. There's the stun. The fissure flies down.
Solo pops his head out, manages to get a Maledict on the Raven. They're gonna try and get some flag cannon shots in as well, but Raven disappears into the trees. And as a result, the Maledict and flag cannon shots will not do enough.
Yeah, I'd love if I could know the stats on it, just because it's 10 minutes in and nobody's really trying to take towers. Like, both these teams notorious for that fight game.
Now Sam H trying to protect his tower. This is the 10-minute Siege Wagon spawn, so we are going to have at least a little pressure on the towers finally after 10 minutes of non-stop fighting, but I'm sure TNC won't let up just yet. Tim's comes down, fills up the bottle. Sam H ready to go once again. And they'll take down that Siege Wagon, so still no towers down. The Furion's getting a little farm here in the top lane because they know the Luna can farm jungle just as efficiently as being in lane. One of the big advantages of running this hero over, say, the Gyrocopter, who's probably a little bit more reliant on lanes.
The Nature's Prophet, he's always a threat to them as in mid lane. With the Helmet Dominator, no one. We saw how effective he was with this. The ability to always get that stun off the toss. Laid out, Armel just trying to create a little bit of space. But now there are 3 heroes here on the side of VP. Both amped up, and TNC's response is going to be going for the tier 1 top tower. And Pasha going to show up to defend this. Raven, though, is quite strong, has the Mask of Madness. But with the Firestorm laid out, less likely that he's going to be willing to pressure. This Ancient stacks are ready for the Gyrocopter, the Fissure. Just trading out for Tim's. Sam H, though, making the rotation in.
This is his second nighttime, so he really needs to find a lot of success, but couldn't find any sort of pick-off here. He's kind of cleared out that whole entire jungle area. Seems to feel like bottom lane is completely alone, so he'll try and put some pressure on it.
And with mid tower taking, this is going to open up things for VP. I'd imagine they want to make the rotation up the top lane. But instead, it's going to
through that jungle area, but first they're going to find the Slardar kill with a paralyzing cask, making sure to keep him stunned. A pretty easy pick off. TNC still leading very slightly in net worth, but VP have picked up the early tower.
That's 13 minutes in right now, and it's going to be TNC's first attempt at a tower. The Treant dragging the creep wave away. This should be a freebie. I'd imagine that VP just go for the trade and mirror things. This bottom tower is way too damaged, but looks like they might try to catch somebody on the retreat. If they could cut somebody off near this ancient area, find Raven, he'd be the big target.
Absolutely. With this 3-man smoke up, wrap down.
There's no way that TNC will expect this.
Yeah,
they're connecting.
They're assuming a wrap up the top lane, but VP is going to be able to catch him here with a paralyzing cast leading out onto Kukr. They're going to try and kill him first. Pasha looks for more, gets the Pit of Malice out, but Sam H is pretty fast during nighttime, so they won't be able to catch him. A smart move from Virtus.pro. Definitely a new move that we haven't seen before, but it only nets them a kill and a support.
Yeah, there's...
Oh, but look at them. They're just smoked right back up, and they're going to go in again.
But they're going to be fighting by a shrine if they do take a fight. Sentry.
Oh, they've been hit by the neutral creep, too. This is going to take a lot of damage onto Tim. Slowed down by the call down. Ramses.
He could clear up some of these Ancients.
Yeah.
That would be massive for him.
So the kills on the supports doesn't really harm the core farm of TNC too much, but taking some of those Ancients certainly will.
There was a trade-off there. They weren't able to grab the tier 1 tower up at top, but I think VP thinks that it's a free tower. Like, they'll get there eventually.
At
They
the
really
same
wanted a
time,
bigger core.
Armel was there to kind of defend. Then now that nobody's there, he actually pressuring that offlane tower himself. The Night Stalker is going to be slowed down here, flies into the tree, should be fine. He'll just take a lot of damage on his way out.
He always builds very tanky.
Yes.
This is the second time I've seen him just straight up build the Vanguard. I was wondering why he wasn't dying. He's got 1,300 HP, a lot of armor to work with as...
And he's ready to fight again, but this time around he has overstepped himself. But maybe he sets up Armel for a counter kill, or maybe he just gets him killed.
Roger trying to get the
Roger's
Echo.
going to be able to catch him, managed to get the Echo Slam out, but now here comes the Eclipse. Dangerous position. Ramps is going to be caught by Cuckoo. Great position by him. Underestimated the global presence of the support Furion. And Virtus.pro, they're the ones who get out-rotated here.
Now they are going to take this top tier 1 tower, but they lose 2 heroes in that bottom lane. Thought it was going to be an easy cleanup. Samage was a little bit too aggressive, but it sort of works itself out in the end, and Solo is hiding in this bottom area, trying not to get spotted, seeing if he can set up for anybody. No one takes the last hit on that top tower. Solo really wants to go for something to creep
they're going to
spots him
TP in here. No one feeling like he's the big baddie who can't really be challenged, and he's right. TNC immediately back out thanks to a Shrine Ward. They see him TP in and give up all control of that Radiant jungle as soon as he appears.
What we're going to be looking for here is if VP decide to go for the early Roshan. They've got a Viper with the Helm of Dom, Underlord with the Firestorm. I'd imagine that gets nerfed at some point. It's probably going to help with that. So if you would imagine where they're going to take a fight, probably near the top area, try to shove in that tier 2, get pressure on mid, get deeper wards, so that you can go for that sneaky Roshan.
And a little bit helpful if it was daytime as well, so Sam H isn't going to be as useful. And we just reached into that long stretch of daytime, so it looks like you may have just talked about it at the perfect time, William. Already. Underlord is already set up inside the pit, kind of checking things out, feeling if maybe they can go for it. And looks like they certainly can. TNC not in a position to defend just yet. They did have a successful scan.
And part of the reason why this is a little bit risky is because they're trying to show Roger at bottom as if they're not roshing. But
Roshan,
TNC should know about this.
It's
Aegis
finished
picked up.
It's a little bit too late for TNC. They couldn't close that gap fast enough. They couldn't bring all 5 of their heroes in to contest Virtus.pro in time. And maybe it was for the best, but it's certainly that little greedy play from Virtus.pro pays off big time because they not only snuck in Roshan, they also got a blink tagger for the Earthshaker.
Yeah. TNC sees the Earthshaker.
Oh, he knows. What a good scan. They're going to catch Armel here. Leads out with a Fisher. Armel needs to be able to blink away before he's caught by anybody. Blinks away ahead of the Firestorm. 2 more seconds till the TP out. And Virtus.pro, they know they've missed their opportunity.
Yeah, they're just going to back out of that immediately. It's the coolest thing about the Underlord is you always have to worry about that sneaky Roshan attempt now. TNC, they saw an Earthshaker at bottom. That sort of made them go, wait a second, like, why would Earthshaker show bottom? But everybody else was missing on the map. They have deep vision in. So they check it anyways, but it's just a little bit too late.
TP out behind the tier 2 here. Solo's trying to rotate over to be the support that stops this push.
I would still like TNC to play aggressively. Oh,
Well, that
dropped
was
the ult.
maybe a little awkward misclick.
Yeah, it had to have been. They're not going to get the blink dagger on Slardar, which is kind of a problem. But they do have one on their Tiny, so starting fights isn't impossible for them by any means.
I think that's been the biggest downside of the Slardars we've seen so far at this tournament is that him as a blink initiator is not nearly as powerful as many of the other heroes, like in this case the Earthshaker or in the past the Sand King. So it is nice that they have another frontline initiator in the Tiny.
Yeah, I'd like VP, you take this mid-tier 2 tower. It's very unlikely that TNC takes this fight at this point. The Viper and the Underlord are way too strong with that pipe. And without the follow-up initiation, the fact that it's daytime, this is going to be a hard defense anyways. You deal with bottom lane, you try to force VP back, slow the momentum of their Aegis if possible. And that's what the Nature's Prophet support does best. The VP now have to decide whether or not they're going to defend this bottom tower area. And if you force them all the way back, look up the top.
Yeah, it's a lot of space, right? TNC, this is a win-win scenario, right? They either take this tier 2, fantastic, a lot of farm, or they force VP back, in which case that opens up a lot of other parts of the map.
Yeah, the way that Aegis works is they're like, if you play poker, they're like pocket aces. You want to protect them as much as you possibly can. So you're going to 5-man around that idea. Like, you have the Aegis. You want to make sure that your guy doesn't just die twice and you blew that advantage.
Right.
But it does make it very obvious where everybody's placed as a result. Just because if I have the Aegis, I'm 5-manning, well, I guess we'll split the map during this time. You're going to concede some important towers like the mid-tier 2, but that's okay because everyone will get a little bit of farm on the map. And that's why despite these objectives and the Roshan, Virtus.pro are only up barely 1,000 gold.
Yeah, you could see Raven. He's certainly out farming everybody right now. Even the gyrocopter. Armel, meanwhile, is going to be the hunter. If Raven is the gatherer, Armel is the one who's going out and finding some meat to munch on. Does not find anybody too good to be able to jump on there. It looks like VP just a little bit too grouped up.
TNC is such a weird team. They pick Pit Lord like heroes, and they build them like Pit Lord, but they refuse to play Pit Lord.
You're referring to their the Sand King with Pipe, Crimson Guard, and now here we've got a Slardar.
The
Night Stalker who went Vanguard, excuse me.
Yeah, into Hood.
Yeah.
It's just, you would think that they would really like Underlord, but it's kind of cool because they're trying to play like that similar style where they just kind of tank up and have an offlaner run at you, but it's somebody that is more active at fighting than the Underlord in the mid game.
Right. That's probably the part they don't like about it, right? Is that Underlord. He's not a kill presence.
Yeah, he's not really a killer in the same sense. He's going to secure you Roshan. He's always going to have a decent laning phase. And his mid-game potential is so strong, but...
Oh, really? We're going for a Viper right now. Okay, let's see if they can actually do it. With the help of Tims, they're going to try and kill this Viper twice. And it looks like they should be able to do it once, but now they've got to get out with the Dark Whip coming in from Pasha. They will be caught with the Pit of Malice. Maybe one of these heroes. No, both of them are going to get away. Tims is too fast, and Armel is able to walk away with his Shadow Blades, so...
Good use, though, of the Dark Rift. I was wondering why they were playing so far away from no one. And that kind of explains things.
Yeah.
With the creep there, you can always go for the Dark Rift TP, and they were so fast. That's what I'm talking about, protecting your Aegis. If you don't have a hero like Underlord there, you will just die twice.
And now, Virtus.pro are in a great situation because they could just go, take a tier 1 and tier 2. The other lanes were decently pushed out, so they shouldn't be trading too many objectives here. Maybe the tier 1, but they've already caught Armel inside of the tier 1 tower. He's trying to get out with the Shadow Blade. He's out of vision now, and they do not have any counter vision out from Roger. The Rocket's going to follow him around a little while, but I don't think they can really go for it. Pasha spotted out. Tim's going to be able to get the amp on him, and now here comes Sam H. But the Witch Doctor's going to help try and turn. Armel, meanwhile, was finally chased down by the missile, brought down by Roger. Back to bottom lane. Pasha, as well as Solo, end up dying there. So as they turn on the Furion and do eventually get that kill, they give up their lives for it.
Cuckoo does die in the end. It's going to be a nice pickup for them. And TNC, there's no objective for them to go for. You can tell this team rather focus on the mini skirmishes. They haven't even taken this mid-tier 1 tower, and that's what's opened up things a lot for VP. That's what allows you to get that tiny kill. That's why we always talk about it in our cast being so important, is that if you can keep this tower alive, it's going to be a huge advantage. You always have to worry about it. Somebody's got to show on the side of TNC. It opens up the plays to get to bottom very quickly like that.
Which is where, if we were to only describe TNC as well as Virtus.pro as teams who just want to fight, that would do them a disservice, right? They have much more depth than that. And we're seeing it here as TNC have drawn a lot of time bouncing away from Virtus.pro's team fight, getting these little skirmishes, and have almost drawn enough time for Luna to be able to finish up a BKB, a huge power spike item for TNC.
Yeah, in games like this, you sort of get typecast, where one team is inevitably not going to challenge the other team when it comes to straight up 5-on-5s. So they're going to be the one that splits. It's like you're playing a game of tag. And right now, TNC just running around the map, trying to split things up. Their play with the Nature's Prophet is never to engage directly 5-on-5. It's to drag attention away from one lane or somebody from VP over, then strike, and try to get the numbers advantage.
The Nature's Prophet is helping in doing that as well. They just take the mid-tier 1 tower by drawing attention to the bottom lane.
Exactly, and because the Nature's Prophet can continuously play fast like this, This is what this hero does best. If you're wondering why TNC is not going for their traditional 5-man, you can't with this hero because he doesn't provide a stun. His ulti is unreliable at best. His teamfight presence is very mediocre, and so you have to get the numbers advantage.
And I would say TNC have yet to really got, right? Like they've had small pickoffs on supports and such, but I feel like for the most part, their big cores like this Luna have been staying alive and farming. They've tried to take some objectives in return for VP. Here you're going to see one for free, tier 2.
VP's trying to walk this like kind of tight line where they're willing to show a hero on the map, and they're playing split because they have the presence of Dark Rift at all times.
Yeah.
That's where it also combos with the Helm of Dom on the Viper. So it's allowing them to deal with the split push, but it just comes down to whether or not they can take the fight against TNC before TNC split them up a little bit too much.
TNC have a ton of items here. They've got the Crimson Guard, they've got the Pipe, they just picked up the BKB for Raven. They know there's no Aegis, and if they're the ones smoking out, they can use Darkness to their advantage.
It would be a massive fight for them, but not going to really find anything as VP are just mirroring them, farming their own Ancients. Tasha showing briefly, but this is not the hero you want to go on. He almost identical items to this Night Stalker. He's very impressive by the Night Stalker. The fact that he's keeping up like this,
yeah,
when it comes to net worth. Armel invised up.
Spots Roger in the back line. That would be an excellent kill to get really quickly. And Roger blinks right into Armel. Says, thank you very much. We'll take that kill. Pop in the darkness. Sam H anticipating more action. But VP skitter away. TNC more than happy to just keep on playing the farm game with their Luna. Will not pursue.
Sam H continues look around. The vision game that he provides is very important. No real way for VP to deal with that.
Blink to the other side, Shadowblade behind.
Now
Now they
can
can go for the toss back if they want, but instead he's just going to try and kill Solo. Also see if they can actually go for the Underlord kill with the amplified damage. They make it look easy. TNC pounce on the mid lane, pick up another 2 kills, and now Virtus.pro looking like they're at a bit of a loss. They're going to buy back on Solo to see if they can defend this Roshan attempt by TNC.
Now look at the constant misdirection that they're throwing out. VP, the team that often sets the edge and the pace, they're struggling a little bit, and that bottom lane pushing into their tower, TNC taking advantage.
And they're feeling good right now. They know there's a buyback with 20 seconds left in the Underlord. They still feel good about a full-on team
they
fight.
Can get this Viper.
Even with the
Stun
Viper in the
whips.
front lines, but a missed BKB opportunity. And now he's going to turn, see if he can go for Cuckoo. With Ramsey's coming in with the call down, he can get a lot of damage out. Another BKB activated, but Luna keeps on nailing that Viper and brings him down with the help of the amplified damage. Even if they're magic immune, they are still susceptible. Now the jump back. Oh, that is a quick one. Solo, he just came back. That's a dieback now for him. Amplified damage on another one. That's going to be Pasha. But TNC, a little bit skittish about diving into tier 2. They just had a really good fight for themselves. There's no need to push their luck. TNC, while they have been aggressive and they have been looking really good in that regard, they have also kept themselves in check and not overextended against VP.
Yeah, it's a good amount of discipline too. Like that fight, they don't want the straight up 5-on-5. What they want is a quick pick, try to get the numbers advantage. You can see that. This is the philosophy right now, is the Night Stalker just going to fly over the edge of that fissure. VP, they really want to try to contest this Roche, but it's going to be TNC's.
That defensive fissure allows TNC to be able to finish up the Roshan, get Aegis for the Luna, and Virtus.pro. They are very rapidly going to be on the wrong side of the who has the bigger team fight.
If you notice the TNC, a lot of teams are just commit for that bottom tier 2 tower. They don't seem to care about it in the least. It's just about these pickoffs, trying to force VP in an awkward position, constantly move them around the map. Somebody's got to deal with bottom lane, and this is where you take advantage. TNC, they're going to connect to this for the first time in some time. And if they can find the Viper, that would be the big kill.
Cuckoo leading the way. He doesn't care if he dies here as long as he finds a pickoff, and they found one in no one. Dark Rift already going out for the Underlord. He can't save the Viper, but he can save himself.
This is so impressive. There's no pattern to what they're doing. They just move, they get kills. They don't play bottom, suddenly they play bottom.
And now, that tier 2 that they didn't really care about pushing earlier, well, they take it for free. Now they've gotten so many hero kills.
And watch what Cuckoo does. He's looking to threaten the TP up top. If somebody deals with that on the side of VP, they'll just get even more aggressive. And this is Cuckoo's job, to try to just make things as frustrating as possible.
Constant feints by this Furion. And then full commitment from the rest of the TNC has caught Virtus.pro off guard many times. And they are now on the back foot in a big way. 6K gold lead for TNC, plus they have that big late game advantage in Luna. Virtus.pro's lineup, they were supposed to be in control of the game right now with this Viper Underlord duo. They were supposed to be too big to be able to take down in team fights. TNC has proved otherwise.
And you can tell that VP really want to take a straight up 5-on-5. And it must be frustrating. That's all hell for them.
Yeah.
Because TNC, they're just denying it. They're just getting quick pickoffs. They get an objective off of that. They're satisfied with just taking 1 or 2 kills.
You know what this makes me think of? It makes me think of a little bit like LGD in the way they were utilizing the vision that they would always have from one of their heroes, usually like the Bounty Hunter, for example. But Beastmaster early on in the group stage was a great example as well.
And VP don't have that similar vision-based hero that can just run around.
Yeah.
The Nature's Prophet and the Night Stalker are just proving to be a little bit too much right now.
Between aggressive vision, a Shadowblade Tiny, the fact that all the lanes are being pushed in by a Furion, and then the biggest vision heroes of all, Night Stalker and Amplify damage from the Slardar. TNC just had every bit of information they need to be able to pick apart Virtus.pro.
Yeah, you can tell it in Solo's gameplay. He's so afraid to walk up anywhere without centering it first. And Armel is being very disciplined with that Shadowblade. The only time he looks for the kills is when he knows for a fact that his team is behind him. He's not trying to make any sort of solo maneuvers, and that's the issue with a lot of pub stars, is they play reckless almost, and they'll throw leads like this. But Armel is being very disciplined, and they're going to get another catch here.
A big kill. Knowing they had the double damage, they were willing to run at any hero they can. Sam H, what you doing here? He's going to the back line.
Look at this.
Silencing the Underlord. Okay, that's a little bit of space. Now for the Tiny to come in, they start wailing on this tier 3. Down to half HP already. He just wants to protect those double siege wagons and give his allies the opportunity to take this one out. VP, meanwhile, they can't afford for this tier 3 to go down, but they can't actually stop it. It looks like it's too much with the clip pushing forward. BKB's activated by the Gyrocopter and the Viper. They'll turn and manage to kill at least the Furion, but now TNC quick to back out. Might get caught, but no. Lunar's already too many Force Staffs away. A homing missile will chase him, but TNC very fast on the retreat. Very well coordinated decision by them.
Yeah, this is going to knock them, and they're just going to go back to the Shrine. Continue to build up that net worth lead. VP.
And VP just can't get there fast enough. The Shrine's already dead. As you said, they really want that 5-man engagement. They just picked up a Butterfly for the Gyrocopter as well, but TNC employing some serious guerrilla tactics here in this opening game 1 of this series.
VP just straight up frustrated at this point. Not really getting the catch that they want. Whenever Roger dies, it feels as though all momentum just kind of gets shifted. That's what's going to prompt TNC to take those engagements.
And even now with the Furion dead, there's still Aegis and Cheese for TNC, so it's not like VP can just go.
Looks like
5-man into the high ground.
Yeah, they're 5-manned up right now. And Armel deals with the wave, TP's out. VP are going to have to deal with that.
Cuckoo's going to cut a wave at bottom lane as well.
Just look at the vision right now. VP have this one ward out. Doesn't see as much as they'd like. That's why they're just playing 5-man, trying to see if VP, they can bait TNC into them. But during this time period, TNC is just farming.
This is a good look for TNC. It was a bit of a surprise when they were knocked down to the lower bracket because they did look so good in some of their games after the group stage.
Yeah, SCA Dota, man.
What would you ascribe this latest surge of strength in the C region?
Good patch, good playstyle that fits it. Really good understanding. Like, part of it too is that if you're not going to a lot of these events, Mineski weren't at some of the events for some time. Same with TNC. Like, you just get to watch everybody play, get time to learn.
Meanwhile, everyone else is kind of scrambling from event to event.
Yeah.
Not enough downtime to really be able to evaluate
What
how
a
you
run
want to
this would
play.
be, though, if TNC, if they could take out Liquid and then VP, be taking out most people's consensus #1 and 2 teams.
Yeah. And maybe you would put yourself in a position where you could even be the favorites against a team like LGD.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though, because VP, their team fight, still very strong. The Echo Slam still going to be very effective here. It's just what TNC right now are trying to do is deny VP those opportunities so that even if they lose that fight, they'll still have the lead.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, VP is just trying not to show and die.
And that is one of the biggest knocks on TNC, right, is that they did have multiple very large advantages, one of which was probably one of the more historic throws, let's say. 30K gold lead. Lost in a game 3.
VP just feels shuttered in their base right now. TNC are smoked up, but VP are not going to bite. They shouldn't anyways.
Solo might pop.
Oh, Solo flee.
Pop his head out. See if he can get a ward down. He's like, protect me, team. I just won vision. Gets a little bit down. It's going to be countered right away.
He just wants to place a ward, guys. Don't do him like this.
Well, he won't die for it, but it certainly won't last. Yeah, the ward already gone.
Out of spite. I mean, that one was going to fade. Come on. I really like this, though. They're still being really smart about it. Dewarding, carrying sentries, making sure that they keep VP in their base at all times. This is how you secure yourself the third Roshan.
As well as a very large net worth lead, right? You've got such good control of the map. All your cores and, hell, even some of your supports like Cuckoo's Nature's Prophet can get their next set of items in anticipation of that next Roshan. And Virtus.pro, it just comes down to that Rosh, right? Like, they kind of have to, force that engagement.
Well, that's where you're most likely going to get a straight-up 5-on-5.
Yeah.
It's by that Roshan pit.
And potentially one of the biggest swings if you could take that 5-on-5 and also take the Roshan away. Armel opening with the Silver Edge onto the Underlord. He's going to be scooted back there by the Force Staff. Cuckoo's still going to be able to catch him, though, and they're going to turn with a call down. Now, Cuckoo always putting himself in the line of fire, but will be protected this time around by a defensive Force Staff from TNC. To be honest, TNC didn't blow a whole lot there. Cuckoo's going to TP back to base, and he will be ready to TP back in to join his team as they smoke up and see if they can force the engagement onto Virtus.pro a second time after all the call down is on cooldown. Might be able to catch VP a little bit off guard.
They're just holding. Courier's going to fly in. They might just snipe that. Nope, they're going to let it go. They know Solo's there, or at least somebody is there. Cuckoo going to get the high ground treants.
Block him in with the trees. They're going to be able to catch Solo for sure. Pasha scoots himself on the other side of the Roshan pit, so he'll be okay. They have to give up their 5 position once again, it looks like, as well as maybe their Helmet Dom creep. Roshan still not up, so Virtus.pro do still have a chance to be able to contest here, even in a 4 versus 5, but TNC are not going to give them that opportunity. They're just going to keep running at them, go for these kills. Night Sucker caught off a little bit off guard, but remember, he's the tanky one. Armel, he's a real damage dealer, comes in from behind now, the Eclipse with the Luna, cutting down the Gyrocopter, now focusing on that Underlord. Viper's going to get away with the BKB, TP out. He will be fine, but the rest of the team will not. A buyback already from the Gyrocopter. Virtus.pro a bit nervous. They've just lost a big engagement around that Roshan pit. TNC both forcing buybacks and getting an Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shard. This seems like an insurmountable lead.
You know what this game feels like? It feels like death by 1,000 cuts. Every time they just get fainted around. They just take a little bit of a
Look
loss
at them. They're
here.
doing Roshan right now, and they still will not let Ramses just get away. He sprouts him up. Now Armel's going to be able to catch him. Toss up in the air. Almost finish him off. Oh, TNC actually stacks him on the retreat. Managed to get the flash. Now that's going to be a dive back from the Gyrocopter. Night Stalker
gotta get back.
keeps on pushing forward. He knows he is so damn tanky, as well as Cuckoo. They are just
They're just
fearless.
gonna call it.
Virtus.pro are done. They know it. They have been absolutely destroyed by TNC in this first game.
This was beautifully done. Took no risks. They denied them the team fight. They just picked them apart, would get the pick off, transition that. This was so well done. I have not seen VP look this bad. Even in the series against Liquid, they kind of pulled it back.
Yeah.
In the games that they were behind. But in this one, it felt as though TNC left them no wiggle room.
Absolutely not. Every single time you thought there was going to be a little bit of downtime, okay, finally, they got this pick off. TNC, boom, smoke up. Let's go again. Let's find more. Let's force another team fight. Let's do Roche. Never mind. Let's go for another team fight. It's like every single time you think that they're going to be doing a little bit of farming, they're going to be doing a little bit of Roshan taking or go for a tier 2, they always change that into just getting right back in VP's face and establish a huge lead.
Yeah, I imagine, I want to hear what the panel has to say about this, but I have to imagine that they banned the Nature's Prophet.
All right, well, your wish is my command. Over to the panel to learn more about this game 1.
Thanks very much, Cap. And Blitz, of course, will come back to the arena with them both for game number 2. But TNC have taken game number 1. Panel members, colour me surprised.
That's well played. No, it really was. That was very methodical that I've been seeing actually from TNC in particular in this game. They, in the last few games that I saw from them, they were more so just like with those like fast cooldowns and everything, they were just running at people. But this time around, the way that they like suffocated the map and they played with their vision and using like the darkness constantly with Sam H, they were able to just keep this farm going. And then like 1 or 2 fights, they were able to catch the Viper because Viper's this hero that your mobility is very lacking, and they were able to actually punish this a lot with Cuckoo constantly TPing around.
Yeah, brilliant performance. Winter, let's answer the question first that Blitz had. Nature's Prophet?
Yeah, Prophet is definitely an issue here, but Tiny is also an issue. I feel like Armel, once again, he showed us what this hero is capable of. The hero is great in the lane. He was up against such a hard matchup against a Viper, but he was still able to hold his ground, get a good timing on the blink and the Shadow Blade, pressure, and transition into a DPS hero into the late game.
I love their itemization there too. We just saw in that last fight, they have multiple blade mails. They run into the Gyrocopter. You see Ramsey starts using flak, and he actually kills himself so quickly on those blade mails. It's pretty absurd, and I like the way that they do this with Sam H too. He was the Underlord in that game pretty much. He went Crimson Guard, he went Pipe, he tanks up for his team, and he just acts as that frontliner to start the fights with Cuckoo.
I think the most difficult thing they had to deal with in that match was actually finding their way out of the booth and off the stage properly, because they looked a bit lost. That was the only time I saw them lost in that entire game. So they've done well there, Jack.
Yeah, so we talk about being like mini VP, right? One of the things that VP people felt got together was kind of the patience, how methodical they were with the games. Not just going crazy, not just running at people mindlessly. And that's we saw from TNC this game. It was a bit more of a control-y type of game for them. I think the Nature's Prophet, as Blitz said, is really a very important part of that. Again, this hero on support not only has the flexibility when you pick it, but it just wins lanes for you. You can win any number of lanes. You can provide vision. You can take objectives. It's just too many things from that support position that basically no one else does. And that plus, I would say, even though Armel got kind of shut down in the lane phase and he had a really rough game, it didn't matter. There was a lot of synergy from this lineup, both in terms of the vision. I like the itemization, like you said. We see Sam H frequently, in that even on Sand Kings and stuff, go for more of those utility items. I mean, they just played such a crisp game, I would say. And VP, you could see like what made them such a good team. They're very quick and precise as well. But TNC used their vision and their mobility to great advantage this game.
Great team effort as well across the board. Not a great fan of the scoreboards because they don't always tell the story of a team. But actually, when you look at that, it kind of did, because they all chipped in with something in every team fight. There was plenty for everyone to get involved in, and they stuck together as that team. On top of that, I don't want to turn this around on, I'm kind of tired of people saying, TNC got kind of lucky because this team played badly, and therefore if they hadn't played badly, TNC would have won. I'm tired of that because these guys have played some legit, properly very good games, and they totally deserve to win that game. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Roger because I can't remember the last time that guy had 2 games in a row that were that bad.
Yeah,
Like
Roger.
this morning's game and this game. Like, where's the real Roger gone?
Roger and Pasha really suffered in this game. It did feel like Pasha's this Underlord. He was 1-3-2 or something, 5,000 damage done. Roger, same thing. He was involved in very few kills, just minimal damage as well. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah, I think TNC, they definitely deserve a lot of credit.
Yep.
The way they maneuvered around the map, they forced VP to constantly be responding to them too. Yeah, it was very impressive.
There's a lack of momentum though. I felt like the gyrocopter, he was kind of not helping his team as much as he wanted to or he could. Like Viper is not a hero that you want to move around. Like generally, when you see the gyrocopter being played by no one, he's really active. And even from maybe like earlier today from LGD, he was moving around. I think that's what you want to accomplish as gyrocopter. And I didn't felt his presence this game. The gyro needed to make some pace of the game for his team. Because Underlord and the Viper, they want to sit in the lane to farm. They don't want to be moving around. So I felt that was lacking.
Okay.
It was just one of the few things, but there were other stuff like the Earthshaker you mentioned.
Yeah, sure. MVP? Tricky, isn't it? Which one do you pick out?
I'd probably give it to Sam H.
I was gonna say Sam H too. I thought he was like creating
Armel?
space, leading the charge.
Yeah, I think Armel could have a good shout as well, couldn't he?
Yeah, I like Sam H. I mean personally, I thought his items were. I mean the way he's been building it, and
Every single item is like really, really good for the game.
yeah. And he just like he ran away a bunch of times too. He was forcing them to chase after him. Like
Yeah.
I felt like every time I looked at the TV, I'm just like seeing Sam H running, and 3 heroes are chasing him while Raven just farms the jungle constantly as this Luna. So
You're not used to a Night Stalker doing that. That kind of throws you off, right? You're used to just being able to, if you catch this guy, or just turn on him and kill him. But that wasn't the case this time. He has to do a good job of providing vision for his team. If he has a bad start and they start losing towers, then their mobility doesn't mean anything because VP just stay together and end up taking their objectives and Roshan. But because like they get off to a decent start, they're able to take some towers and not get run over early on. Then they have an open map to play with, and that's where the mobility and vision really comes into play.
Okay, we're going to take a break here at the panel, but don't go too far away. Game 2 is coming next, and we'll find out whether Virtus.pro can stay alive. Still in the hunt, of course, to become the first team ever to win 3 majors in a row, but it's getting much harder by the game. We'll see you soon.
Da 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 da.